It started with a knock on the door. I almost didn't open. Rain was hitting the glass like it had a score to settle, thunder rolling off the roofs down our street. And there she was, a little black girl, maybe 6, pink backpack glued to her shoulders, braids dripping down her cheeks. She looked right at me and said, "Can you take me to find my mom?" No hesitation. No, please. Just raw desperation disguised as a command. Before I could even breathe, she added, "If you say no, I'll stand here until the storm takes me, and then it'll be your fault." I've negotiated billion-dollar deals, stared down CEOs twice my age, but I swear that kid's words were the hardest hit I'd ever taken. Her name was Layla. My name, Marcus Hale. Folks around town call me a grumpy recluse, a man hiding in a glass house outside Dallas, a billionaire with too much money and not enough patience. But I knew the look in her eyes. It was the same look I had when I was 8, waiting on a porch that smelled like beer and diesel rains soaking through my sneakers. Nobody coming back for me. I swore I'd never feel that again. And now here she was, shaking, clutching a scarf that smelled like fear and cheap perfume. My old police dog, Ranger, padded up behind me, sniffing at her backpack tail, twitching. That dog never misjudged a soul. I wanted to say no. Every instinct screamed liability headlines, lawsuits. But when she said, "You're rich, right? Prove you have a heart," something in me cracked. I threw my coat over her shoulders, grabbed my keys, and said, "Get in. We'll look." She exhaled like she'd been holding her breath for weeks and climbed in without another word. We drove through the city in silence, wipers slashing neon, bleeding across wet asphalt. Layla sat curled under my jacket, clutching her mom's scarf and a crayon drawing already blurred by rain. She directed me like a GPS of Heartbreak bus station clinic, anywhere her mom might drift. At each stop, we found breadcrumbs, a cracked phone under a bench, a nurse saying her mom's blood sugar had crashed a time card cut short. Piece by piece, a story of a woman named Tiana working herself sick at a fuel station, threatened with losing hours if she didn't show up. Every clue made the little girl's voice harder, older. "They always take us away," she whispered once, "and then it's like we never mattered." When we walked into that Briggs fuel station, store number 47 off the frontage road, I saw the guy who held her mom's paycheck hostage. Name tag said Roy Stenson, but he wore his smirk like a badge. She clocked out early. "Not my problem," he muttered. Layla planted her fists on the counter, fire in her eyes. "My mom would never leave without me." "You're lying." The store smelled of burnt coffee and bleach. I noticed their security monitor glowing bright even though he'd sworn cameras were down. My dog growled low. I leaned over the counter, voice flat. "Show me the ledger. Smudged ink. 2 different pens. Classic wage theft cover-up." Layla tugged my sleeve. "He's hiding something." She was right. Back in the car, she looked at me and said, "If you're really on our side, tell the world. Don't let them make her invisible." I'd spent my whole career controlling narratives, feeding the press only what I wanted. But she was right. Silence was worse. I opened my social account, typed, "A mother named Tiana is missing. Briggs Fuel altered her pay. If you've seen her, speak up." I hit post. By the time we reached the next light, my phone was melting down. Tips, outraged board members screaming. For the first time, I didn't care. That night, a security guard at the bus station, a veteran named Samuel, took me aside. "Saw her," he said, scratching his beard. "About midnight. Shaky, like she hadn't eaten. A guy in a blue Briggs jacket. Big Joe walked her out the side gate. She didn't want to go." He pressed a crumpled paper into my hand, a license plate. Couldn't shake the feeling I'd need this later. I thanked him, my pulse a drum in my ears. We were getting close. The closer we got, the more the world closed in. CPS called. We've had reports you're harboring a minor. Reporters camped outside my gate. My board threatened to suspend me. And still Layla sat in my passenger seat, scarf clutched like a lifeline, whispering, "Don't leave me, even if it gets hard." That plea landed harder than any shareholder revolt. I told her, "As long as you need me, I'll be here." And for the first time, I meant it. By dawn, we'd traced the plate to a warehouse by the bayou, corrugated metal trucks idling like predators. Layla pressed her forehead to the glass. "She's in there. I know it." Ranger's hackles rose. We slipped through a side door weaving between pallets. Inside, dim bulbs swung over stacked crates. And there she was, Tiana slumped in a folding chair, wrists cinched with plastic ties, eyes fluttering but alive. Two men in blue jackets circled like vultures. Their voices carried. She kept asking for her kid. "Boss says, keep her quiet." Layla's breath hitched. I whispered, "Trust me." But before I could stop her, she called out, "Mom!" Her mother lifted her head, whispering, "Layla, no, run." The men spun around. Ranger erupted into a snarl, teeth flashing, freezing them mid-step. I stepped into the open suit, soaked with sweat and rain, voice steady as iron. "That's her mother. Let her go." The smoker sneered. "You don't know who you're dealing with." "I know exactly," I shot back. "Touch them, and every camera in this city will know what you did. Briggs is already bleeding. Add kidnapping to the list, and you're finished." Heavy footsteps echoed from the far door. A massive figure filled the doorway, Big Joe, the one from Samuel's story. Stocky beard streaked with gray Briggs patch on his jacket. He looked at me, then at the girl, then at the woman tied to the chair. "What the hell is this?" he growled. Layla clung to my arm, whispering, "That's him." My voice stayed low. "It's over. Release her." Big Joe laughed, a sound like gravel in a grinder. "Release her. You think you can just walk in here, city boy, and tell me what to do?" "This is my yard." I stepped closer. "Your yard belongs to the public now. The whole world is watching." His eyes narrowed. "People forget. Headlines fade. A man like me keeps going." And then Layla's small voice cut the air I'll never forget. "You took my mom. Now everyone knows your name." Even Joe shifted at that. "Say another word to her," I warned, "and I'll bury you with truth." For a heartbeat, the warehouse held its breath. Joe flicked his chin at the men. "Get him out." But they hesitated. My dog lunged a step, growling so deep it rattled the crates. The men backed up, muttering. Their loyalty cracked. Joe's fists clenched. "You don't walk out of here, Hale." "Try me," I said, pulling a pocket knife from my jacket. In one motion, I cut the ties on Tiana's wrists. Layla bolted into her mother's arms. "I found you, Mom," she sobbed. Tiana clutched her tight, tears streaking her face. Joe loomed closer, fury boiling. "You'll regret this," he spat. "Not today," I said. We slipped out the side door, shadows clinging to us. Ranger pacing like a soldier. Outside the bayou, breeze hit like freedom. We loaded into the SUV. Tiana slumped but alive. Layla gripping her mother's hand as if it could disappear again. My phone buzzed with headlines screaming, "Billionaire rescues missing mom and kidnapper," or "Hero CPS waiting at the clinic," my board chair threatening lawsuits. I'd lost my company, maybe my future. But in the rearview mirror, I saw a child with her mother, and I knew what mattered. The next morning, the courthouse was a battlefield. Protesters waving justice for Tiana, signs others calling me a manipulator. Inside marble echoed under our steps. Briggs's lawyers tried to spin the story, calling me reckless. Tiana unstable, Layla a pawn. but Samuel testified. Tiana spoke. Layla stood on her own feet and said, "They tried to make her disappear, but I found her, and I won't let anyone take her again." The judge's tired eyes softened. "If what I'm hearing holds," he said, "then Briggs will answer for more than a missing woman." I walked out with them into the Texas sun cameras flashing, Max trotting at our side. Layla looked up at me, her small hand still gripping my sleeve. "You told the truth. Now everyone knows." Her mom's voice was faint but steady. "Whatever comes next, you gave me back my child." I'd spent decades hiding from responsibility behind glass walls. This little girl tore them down in a single night. But the fight isn't over. Briggs has friends in high places. They're still pushing for custody, still pushing their story to the press. Maybe we win, maybe we don't. But now the world's looking, and once you shine that kind of light, it's hard to turn it off. Layla asked me in the car yesterday, if they make you choose between your company and helping us, what will you do? I didn't answer then. I guess she knows now, and here's where I hand it to you. You've watched this unfold. A kid, a mom, a man with power who finally used it for something besides himself. Do you think I did the right thing? Do you think the system will let a company like Briggs get away with what they tried? Have you ever seen someone disappear into silence because nobody powerful cared enough to look? Tell me in the comments. Let's talk about what justice should look like in real life, not just in stories. Because the truth is, this story's still being written.